He is our good buddy Ross Tucker, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, and he can be found on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. We call him the meathead James Van Der Beek, the great actor. He looks a lot like Ross Tucker, who joins us on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Tucker.
Dan, how are you? Boys?
Of course, James Van Der Beek was on, what was that, Saved by the Bell? Is that
Dawson's Creek.
Oh, Dawson's Creek.
Dan, true story.
Okay.
Nobody ever told me that I looked like James Van Der Beek until a couple times when I filled in for you. And then it became this thing, Meathead James Van Der Beek. One of my roles for Westwood One is at the end of the conference championship game, I interview the winning head coach and quarterback when they come down off the podium, okay? So I talked to Mahomes for a minute, and I'm talking to Andy Reid, and he's got his arm around his wife, Tammy Reid, and she's just smiling and listening as I'm doing the interview. The interview ends, and she looks at me and she says, "Has anyone ever told you you look like the guy from Dawson's Creek?" I was like, "Paulie told you to say that, didn't he?" Like, there's no way. Like, Andy Reid's wife said out of the blue. Maybe she listens or watches the show. I don't know.
Meathead James Van Der Beek.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy.
No.
I mean, I don't know that he's my level, but he's not a bad-looking guy.
And he couldn't get into Princeton like you did.
Well, I'm still mad about Varsity Blues. The movie he was in?
Yeah.
Well, number one, if you have an opportunity for the whipped cream sundae or whatever that was, you're in high school and you're playing football, you take advantage of that opportunity. So I'm a little upset that he didn't take advantage of the whipped cream. What do they call it? The whipped cream?
Was that
Allie Larder?
Yes.
Whipped cream.
Secondly, he was so focused on getting into Brown when they're trying to win a West Texas State championship.
Yeah.
I mean, get some priorities, Van Der Beek.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad had the right priorities, okay? His dad knew that they had to play State High on Wednesday or whatever. It was amazing.
Okay, best football movies.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm kind of a softie for like a Rudy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a softie for like a Rudy. Seton loves it.
That's a documentary. Seton says it's not a movie. That's a documentary.
Well, I do love documentaries, but so I grew up going to some Notre Dame games, but also...
Okay, but when Montana came on our show a few years ago and basically dispelled any of the myth of Rudy,
that hurts.
And he caught a lot of heat, too. There were a lot of people upset with Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Like, don't you dare tell me that Rudy didn't really get that sack. He was offsides, first of all. Right?
That's my favorite for any Notre Dame game where, like, college game day, somebody will have the sign, Rudy was offsides. It's so good.
But it is true.
It's so
He
good.
did jump the count there.
It's so funny. Dan, I actually sent, back in the mid-'90s, okay, I sent out 35 VHS tapes to colleges. My coach said I was 1AA, but I sent to Notre Dame and Penn State anyway, right? And I got a letter back from Notre Dame about if I wanted to walk on. And so I can sort of think about what that was like for Rudy, which, by the way, kills me because growing up in Pennsylvania, I had Penn State season tickets, and my wife hates when I say this, but once I made the NFL, the Penn State guys like LeVar Arrington and Kenny Watson, they were like, "Man, you were started like 3 years for us." And I was like, "Oh, don't tell me that, don't tell me that, don't tell me that." And my wife wanted to go to Princeton, so she's always like, "If you say that one more time." Different perspectives.
He's meathead James Van Der Beek, Ross Tucker, from Westwood One, CBS Sports NFL and college football analyst. He was on this day in 2012 when the Giants beat the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. Was that the one where I got roasted going on Letterman and I said the Giants will win the Super Bowl? And he said, "Have you been drinking?" And I hadn't. But I remember you taped the show in at 5:30.
Yeah.
I got done. And I think Paulie said, what did you do? And I said the Giants will beat the Patriots. He goes, "That's crazy." And so nothing happened. So it's done at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I drive home. Show airs that night. The next day, people are going, "How stupid are you that you think the Giants will beat the Patriots?" And I said, I thought that because they had played the Patriots the final regular season game, I think, that year. And so I thought, okay, they're not afraid of them. They know what to expect. Now, was I surprised that they won? I was. But I just remember making a prediction where it just kind of lingers. It hangs out there, and you go, I'm going to get crucified. Have you had one of those predictions where you go, why did I say that?
Well, so what's wild is I had 6 different people text message me this morning because I went on some radio station in Kansas City and I said, I have no idea why the 49ers are favored in this game. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you watch the 3 Chiefs playoff games, Dan. They were the better team in all 3, including at Buffalo, at Baltimore.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Niners, I mean, I can think of 6 plays maybe off the top of my head against the Packers where if that went the other way, Keyshawn Nixon dropped the pick, Darnell Savage dropped the pick, the Packers would have won. And then the Lions were bashing the Niners' brains in until they had, that might have been one of the most painful collapses, meltdowns that I've ever seen. And I'm not like a Lions fan, but that was hard to watch. So anyway, I just said it doesn't seem logical to me that the 49ers would be favored. Now, they might win, but I guess my point would be if these teams played 10 times, I think the Chiefs win 7, maybe 8. So I have no idea why that got news, but it got picked up by a certain cable news outlet. So my friends or people I know in my life are telling my dad, they're telling on themselves for what cable news outlet they watch because they're all texting me, you're on the front page of bleep, bleep, bleep. I mean, I was like, really? For just saying I'm surprised the Niners are favored? Is that, I don't feel like that's, like, aren't you a little surprised the Niners are favored?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to end up on the front page of somebody. It's weird how when you make a prediction, they think you either love their team or you hate their team.
Right.
So when I say, like, I'd never bet against Patrick Mahomes. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't bet against Tom Brady. I mean, I've been doing this 40 years. I sort of have this figured out here. And so when I say I'd never root against Patrick Mahomes, oh, so you don't like the Niners or you don't like Brock Purdy? I go, no, it's not that. I don't have any bias whatsoever. If you said the Niners are going to be, dominate and it's going to be an impressive performance and Brock Purdy's the MVP, I'd go, awesome. Yeah. I'm just analyzing a stock. Right. That's all this is. I'm looking at a stock, and the stock is Patrick Mahomes. I'm investing in that. And, they're 2-point underdogs, and I wouldn't be surprised, that if they go off as a betting favorite if people, start to look at the numbers here.
And Dan, you referenced Tom Brady, and I think that's the right name for Patrick Mahomes. And the reason why I say that is I don't know if it's conscious or subconscious, but we're to the point now where, the Chiefs, they went to Baltimore. I thought Baltimore was the best team in the league this year, right? The Chiefs went in there. They took it right to them. Yeah. And I remember I played with Drew Bledsoe. I started a bunch of games in Buffalo with Drew Bledsoe. Really good quarterback. And we thought we were going to win because we had Bledsoe. When I went to New England, you're going to win. You have the guy. Like, even if you're down 2 scores late, you're literally thinking in your head, we're still going to win. We have Brady or we have Mahomes. It's just a matter of how. And I think that subconsciously seeps in because then the other teams start doing stupid stuff. The Ravens are getting penalties. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson had one of the worst playoff interceptions I've ever seen. And it just seems like people make critical errors, dumb mistakes against the Patriots, against the Chiefs, where you're like, what are they doing? And I don't know if it's conscious or subconscious, but it's a fact.
Yeah, because if anything, you have to keep your composure. Like, you can't try to force things, but that's what they sort of speed you up a little bit. Speaking of the Patriots, I said last week, I don't see Bill Belichick coaching in the NFL again as a head coach.
Ever again.
Unless it's Dallas, unless something happens and then Jerry Jones goes, all right, come on in, Bill. I got to win one while I'm still alive. Maybe the Eagles. But you would know better since you cover the Eagles if that owner, Jeffrey Lurie, I think they were interested in him. They just didn't pull the trigger. You're bringing, Nick Sirianni it's as hot as that, that flame behind you there under his seat. I just don't know if somebody's going to go to Bill, come on in and run the show here.
I don't know if they're going to do that. I would be shocked if he's not hired as a head coach a year from now. 2 reasons. Number one, I don't know what the right term for this is, Dan, but I think he's going to have like a media cleansing this year. He's going to work somewhere in the media. He's going to be insightful. He's going to show personality. And there's something weird about when you stop coaching and people see a different side of you because they're only used to the just on to Cincinnati. Like they're only used to that.
Wait, was that Bill Murray?
I don't know. I don't know. That was a
It's
terrible
a
Bill
Cinderella
Belichick.
story.
Flowing robes, beautiful. No, I think after a year in the media, a year from now, a lot of people are going to be like, you know what? I like him. He is the best coach ever. They're going to forget what a jerk he is in press conference now. And I don't know if it's like media cleansing or whatever. That and the fact, Dan, I know you know him decently well.
No, I don't.
Well, I think you know this part. He wants that record bad. I don't care what he says. He wants that record bad. So if a year from now he has to humble himself and just be a head coach, I think he overplayed his hand this year.
Yeah.
I think he thought he could run the whole show in Atlanta, so that's what he went for. Next year, now that he's out for the whole year, I think he'll put feelers out about running the whole show. But if it comes down to it, I think he'll accept just being a coach somewhere so he can get whatever his 13 wins. I don't know.
15.
15 wins. So he can get that over the next couple of years and have that.
No, I don't
because
know.
you ever notice they don't do anything with the media, but anytime the Patriots win the Super Bowl, it's like, oh my gosh, NFL Films has been there all year. We had no idea. And they had this documentary with the coaches and that's why on 3rd and 8, we saw when his left pinky toe was pointed outwards. He was going to run an in-breaking route. It's like, wait a minute. I want to see the videos, Dan, from all the years when the Patriots stink. I want to see the NFL Films cameras and guys from the years when they're not, because they're always there when they win the whole thing.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying about the media cleansing, but you still have to turn your team over to him or believe that he's just going to coach and he's not going to be part of the front office there.
Right.
I think that's where you say, hey, no, I just want to coach. And then all of a sudden you start coaching and then you're like Bill showing up at meetings where you go, what are you doing here? No, just coaching. Just thought I'd stop by.
Well, and that's the problem with Atlanta. So Terry Fontenot's the GM there. Rich McKay's the president there. You think they wanted Belichick?
No.
Absolutely not. And they talk to Arthur Blank every day.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Do you think that Brady stays in the booth for 10 years at Fox?
No, I don't. That would surprise me. I think he might move on to other things. I'm fascinated to see how he does. Nobody will be more prepared. And he does have a good personality. I guess I'm just curious. We've never really seen him with his guard down. And we also haven't really seen him be overly critical of people. He's a very positive person. I'm going to be curious because what I sense from him is he would be really frustrated by dumb plays by other quarterbacks.
Well, we see that with Peyton on the Manning cast.
And I'm hoping Tom is real. I'm hoping when a quarterback does something dumb, like the Lamar Jackson interception, I hope Tom is just this is unacceptable, because he has a lot of anger in him, right? That's what fuels him. I would love if he's this is unacceptable. You cannot do this. I have no, that would be good TV. That would be good if he really acted the way he normally would when watching a quarterback do something like that.
Well, we have Tony Romo joining us now, and
I don't know, Jim. What do you think?
Wait, that's his Tony Romo impersonation
At least Seton waits for you to cue him up.
Yes, he does.
Fritzy just goes into it,
Yeah.
thinks it's the Todd Fritz show.
Todd just blows through the stop sign. But, when Jim Nantz will go coming up following the football game, 60 minutes except on the West Coast, and then the new equalizer. 3rd and 8. Tony, what do you think will happen here?
I don't know. I mean, they can run it. They can pay. What would you do, Jim? He only said that once in a game.
I know, but that didn't stop us from using it all the time. He's asking the play-by-play guy, what would you do, Jim?
Yeah, what would you do? Dude, that's why you're here, Tony.
I think Jim Nantz is joining us this week. Is that right, Todd?
On Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Will we do the Tony Romo impersonation to Jim Nantz? Okay.
I don't think Jim is going to.
He won't laugh? He can't laugh.
He can't. Yeah, he can't.
But like deep down, he might laugh.
Goodbye, friends.
Yes. yes. All right. Hey, great to see you.
Always great to see you.
Always.
This
Thank
is
you.
unbelievable, by the way.
Yes, it is.
This is
It's
so
wonderful.
cool.
Yep.
The fans
Wonderful.
here,
Yep.
it's amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
They only came to see you. They're leaving right after this.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the contributions with the show. We appreciate it all year long.
No, man, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's awesome.
He's Ross Tucker from Westwood One CBS Sports. Take a break. We'll close up shop after this.